and we are back. Well, pre-season football is back. And you know what? It was a lot of fun. I went to Boreham Wood. It's the closest club to me, and Luton Town played Boreham Wood today. But there's a lot. It's not just a football game. When the season is starting up again, it's a time to meet your friends again. Friends that you only really see at football and with a non-league ground as well. It's one of those where you can walk around and meet a lot more people than you usually would as well. I had a great time today. And I met a few people that I'd never met before, people coming up to me. Thank you to everyone that came up to me and shook my hand and said they watch. Really appreciate you all. Excellent, top stuff. You know, people that call in, people that just listen and don't call in. I love you all. Thank you all for, supporting the channel by watching and listening to my rambles. Today, with this game against Boreham Wood, and normally I know after matches I do the post-match review, and that is something I've done. Well, there's a lot that's happened today, mainly because this is the first game back in pre-season, and we've beaten Boreham Wood 3-0. Yay! Well, this is a team that just got promoted from the National League South. I really rate Luke Garrard. I think he's a tremendous manager, and what he's done at Boreham Wood is fantastic. The playoff push before the relegation, and they got rid of him, and then they brought him back. Really weird stuff. But I think Boreham Wood, very tidy club, very tidy ground, good burgers as well.
This is a tasty burger.
This is pre-season, and we won 3-0, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we beat Stevenage 3-0 in the first game back of pre-season last year as well. But the signs are looking a bit more promising. This is the first time I've been to Boreham Wood since Luton Town played there in pre-season. At the beginning of the 21-22 season, that was the season after COVID, I believe, and then we went on and got the playoffs that season. So there were different vibes around the club at that point. Today, I won't lie, the vibes, a lot of people, obviously we had a good time. We're watching football. We're drinking beer in view of the pitch. Oh, that is just, I love it. You know, you go, you get a beer, you drink it, you're standing, you're watching, you're chatting, and there's a football game going on. That is the way it should be. You should be able to drink beer in view of the pitch. I think that is an absolutely ludicrous rule. Never mind. There are loads of other sports in the UK you can watch while drinking a beer. So, there were a few absences. Thelo Aasgard, I'll talk about him a bit later. Reece Burke, Alfie Doughty, Tahith Chong. But that one, I'm happy about. Well, to be honest, I'm happy about all of them other than Thelo Aasgard. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk about Aasgard's at the end, okay? So this is the Boreham Wood review, and it is also a little bit about Aasgard and the state of the club. Two different lineups for this game. You have your first half, then you have your second half. That is pretty normal in pre-season because it's about minutes in the legs. I love that old cliche. So in the first half, well, in both halves, you play with a back four. And I was watching the warm-up, and it was Joe Johnson, Ted Mengi, Mark McGuinness, Ruel Walters, the four across the back. And they were doing that thing where they line up, and then they're launching balls at them. And I thought, okay, they looked all right. Remember, this is a team that are 2 tiers beneath us. But when the game kicked off, Boreham Wood really didn't threaten us. There's only one save that I remember James Shea having to make, and that was directly at him. We weren't really that troubled. But I feel Mark McGuinness, again, was probably a step above absolutely everyone in that first half. Every ball that came over, he took it down, brought it out. Brilliant player. Brilliant player. Very happy. And if we lose Mark McGuinness, he is going to be a very, very, very tough player to replace. Teden Mengi, I feel he has to go. I don't feel he wants to be here. He has to go. But there are still a few other players that obviously have to go. The players I mentioned that weren't there today, the likes of Chong, the likes of Alfie Doughty, because, come on, they were playing Premier League football 2 years ago. They don't want to be playing League One. And as we've realised from last season, the last thing you want to do is keep a player against their will. So in the first half, and I've actually got the lineups here, first half, Shea, Walters, McGuinness, Mengi, Johnson, Baptiste, Walsh, Luca, new signing, Jake Richards, Ali and Woodrow. So it was a very interesting start of the game. I don't think there was much going on in the middle of the park, but that will happen when you're playing a lower league opposition from the National League. The midfield tends to get bypassed. However, there were great bits of play on the wing, especially from Ali, and Johnson and Walters were pretty good at progressing the ball down the wing as well. Woodrow had the killer instinct though, and it was a good finish. New boy Richards did well to sort of win the ball back, nick it off a Boreham Wood player, feed it into Woodrow. Woodrow bent it round the keeper. The Boreham Wood keeper, I remember him from the pre-season friendly in 21-22, and this guy is an absolute beast. He is huge. He's not just tall, he is wide, and he is athletic. And I don't know how he has not got a move into the Football League, because he's a brilliant goalkeeper. Yeah. Kate, pull up a picture of this guy if you can. He is massive dude. Anyway, so Woodrow bends the ball around him, and otherwise we weren't really, a couple of chances over the bar, wide. We weren't really creating too much. That, I feel, is down to the midfield. Second half, though, it is complete change. I think almost everyone changed. Everyone did change other than James Shea, because we obviously don't have a goalkeeper. Krul's gone. Kaminsky's gone. Chris Coyne's kid, he played in the under-21s game yesterday. But just briefly about Jake Richards before I move on to the second half. Yeah, other than nicking the ball off the Boreham Wood player for the goal, didn't really see much. There were no standouts other than Mark McGuinness in that first half. And my thoughts about Cordy Woodrow are very well documented. I don't think he is the answer to our striking problems. He is not going to bag us 20 goals this season. No chance at all. We have to do what Birmingham did. We have to invest heavily in a striker, because ultimately strikers and goals get you out of divisions. Don't see Jacob Brown doing that, mainly because he's a sick note. But anyway, he's still injured. He's not coming back anytime soon. Second half, Shea, Jones, Makoso, Anderson, Naismith, Phillips, Josh Phillips from the academy, Jordan Clark, Saville, Lamine Fanne, Nelson, and Nordas. Now, again, Boreham Wood didn't really threaten us. However, Cal Naismith was the one that was sort of snuffing out danger, intercepting, putting his body on the line, diving in. Cal Naismith was excellent in this game. He really was. But the player that was really just levels above was Lamine Fanne, who was brilliant. 2 incredibly well-taken goals, great touches, movement of the ball, giving, releasing, moving. And I don't think, even though he was there today, I don't think he's going to be here for the season. Just my thought. But if he is, happy days, because he is going to be levels above League One. He just needed to settle in. But I can see him going elsewhere. He's been linked, so could happen. Zach Nelson did well. Again, he moves the ball really well. He moves with the ball very well. Josh Phillips did really well. Defensively, we didn't have anything to really worry about, but I felt Clark, Saville, and Naismith, they all moved the ball together really well in the midfield. They controlled it. We had a lot more control in the second half, but that comes with a much more experienced midfield. Once again, talk about the striker. We need to bring in a striker. Nordas is not the answer. The guy had 5 clear-cut chances, and for that second half, me and my dad, and I was there with another mate as well, we were literally right in front of him he was right in front of us as he was cutting in, pinging the ball. Ashmore was tipping it around the post. He was missing the goal by that much. It's reassuring that he's getting into the positions, but I just don't think he's a finisher. Maybe he could be one of those where he gets 1 and then he gets 20. Who knows? But I feel we should not put all that burden on Lassie Nordas, and I don't think Ollie Woodrow is going to be the answer either. We need an out-and-out striker, and we'll see what we can bring in, because players are leaving, but we need to strengthen where we can. It was good seeing Jane Luca play. I can see him being a bit part player. I don't see him being like first name on the team sheet or anything. But I feel with this new formation, we do need support left back, right back. It can't just be Johnson and Walters. We need some, I don't want to say experience, because I don't want to bring in any more players over the age of 30, but we need a bit more. Well, we need a bit more experience. We need players who are above 21 and below 28. Essentially, we need other players that can play left back and right back, because that is where we are completely not stacked right now, and that is the problem. Left back, right back, centre forwards, and maybe one more midfielder. I feel that is what we need. Oh yeah, and a goalkeeper. We need a goalkeeper. Like James Shea wasn't really trouble today. I love James Shea, but I would say we need 4 players then, maybe a midfielder if we're feeling ritzy, if we're spending money, if we feel like replacing Thelo Aasgard. So Aasgard has left. I'll only give this 2 minutes because ultimately he's only been at the club for 2 minutes, hasn't he? Joined in January for a fee reported to be about 3 million. He has left because his minimum release fee has been met by Glasgow Rangers. And he will absolutely tear up the Scottish Premier League, because the Scottish Premiership is absolutely rubbish. I could go there and be a professional. I might do that. No, the Scottish Premier League is terrible. And the fact is, Rangers, they signed like 5 players, Aasgard being one of them. They've also signed a centre-back from Peterborough. Like, they can pick players from League One, League Two. And if you cast your mind back to Dean Brill, when he was our backup goalkeeper in the National League, he went to St Johnstone and became like goalkeeper of the season. It's a very poor standard of football. Jack Walton going from Dundee United, or Dundee, I don't know which one, Dundee, who qualified for Europe, and now he's in League One. Oh yeah, conspicuous in his absence today. Apparently he's injured, but who knows? Who knows? I feel we need a goalkeeper. We need some depth there. Luton can confirm that midfielder Thelo Aasgard has today completed a permanent transfer to Scottish Premiership club Rangers for an undisclosed fee. The 23-year-old joined the Hatters shortly before the winter transfer deadline from Sky Bet League One club Wigan Athletic, where he come through the ranks, moving through Liverpool's academy at the age of 14. Pretty much copy and paste from the announcement. I guess not much has changed really in the July, in the 7 months since we signed him. He made his debut in the 1-1 draw at Sheffield Wednesday, went on to play 17 times. 17 times. No point even making a profile for him on Hatters Heritage, is there? Scoring twice. The winner at Cardiff and the opener in a 3-1 win over Bristol City. Matt Bloomfield said it's bittersweet. We're obviously disappointed to see Thelo go, but unfortunately after our relegation, there was an air of inevitability that he would be highly sought after. In order to sign him in January, we agreed to a conditional release clause, something that the club has only ever done in exceptional circumstances. which only got triggered in the event that we played League One football this season. Oh, are we playing League One football? It's the first I've heard of this. So the move was entirely his choice, and if it wasn't for the international manager's comments, oh, I love that, get the knife in there, right? That he needed to be playing at a certain level of football to go to the World Cup, we may have been able to persuade him to stay. We weren't persuading him to stay. The fee was met, and his future success will benefit the club greatly going forward. Yeah, I think we should be filled with pride because we've taken the boy from League One. Now he's off to a huge club. He'll be playing in the Champions League qualifiers. Well, Rangers won't really get out of the Champions League qualifiers, will they? And we've taken a boy from League One to League One. So, mission failed successfully. Essentially, I don't think we haven't made any money on this, so it's absolutely ridiculous. We should have put in like a bigger release clause. I don't know what the release clause is, but yeah, you don't want players here that don't want to be here. You don't. And the talk on the terrace today, Reece Burke's going to be going. Like, I love Reece Burke, but he's a permanent sick note. He's going off to Charlton as well. Like Nathan Jones, he's getting the band back together, isn't he? He loves doing that. Amari Bell's gone there. Reece Burke is going there. Thomas Kaminsky, although Thomas Kaminsky didn't play under Nathan Jones. I guess if you play for Luton Town, Nathan Jones is going to get you. Right. Well, I'm not worried about Thelo. I'm not worried about Burke. We still need to get rid of the likes of Chong. Doughty, I feel he's not committed. Like, he wasn't there today. So fair play, bye-bye. But there are also other players that need to go. But again, these players are on big wages. It's going to be very, very difficult to get rid of people. Right, oh my God, I've been talking for ages. I want you all to go on, enjoy the rest of your weekends or Monday, whenever you're watching this. Everyone, take care. Remember to subscribe. It was great meeting loads of people today. Glad the football is back. And most importantly, come on, you Hatters.